Welcome to today's deep dive, where we're going to be looking at the IELTS Speaking Test.
Okay.
We're going to be using a practice podcast episode as our source material.
Right.
And what we're going to do is role play the scenario.
Interesting.
The examiner starts by saying,
Good morning. My name is, and can you tell me your full name, please?
now it's your turn to shine. What would you say?
My name is.
Perfect. Nice and simple. And then the examiner asks,
Can you show me your identification, please?
what do you do?
Here is my passport.
All right. Now for some easier questions.
Thank you. Now let's talk about advertising. What is your favorite advertisement?
All right. It's your turn to really show off your English skills.
Well, my favorite advertisement is actually a recent one from a travel company. And it's not just about, promoting their services or anything. It's more about the feeling it gives you. It shows families reuniting after being apart for a long time. The music, the visuals, it all just comes together to create a really heartwarming experience,
Yeah.
It really captures what it means to come home. It's not just an advertisement. It's like a sentimental story that really connects with people.
That's a fantastic response.
Yeah.
You really painted a picture with your words and used some great vocabulary.
Thanks. Okay, let's keep going. I'll ask.
Do you often see advertisements for fast food?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I see them all the time. On TV, social media billboards, they're designed to be really eye-catching and make you want to eat there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
They often show the food looking way better than it actually is. I think they can be kind of misleading sometimes.
That's a good observation. You pointed out how persuasive they are, but also how they can be misleading.
All right, one more question I'll ask.
In your opinion, what makes an advertisement effective?
I think the best advertisements tell a story. They don't just show a product, they connect with the audience on an emotional level, whether it's humor or nostalgia or a heartwarming message. Emotions can make an advertisement really stick with you and make you want to buy something.
That's a really strong point. Emotional storytelling is super powerful in advertising.
For sure. It's key.
Absolutely. All right, let's take a quick break and come back for part 2. Welcome back, everyone. All right, so we just finished part 1, and you're doing great. Now get ready for part 2, the long turn section.
This is where it gets a little more challenging.
You'll get a topic card and 1 minute to prepare it. Think of it like in any presentation.
Exactly. You need to plan out what you're going to say.
Those 60 seconds are crucial. Right, ready to see the topic card.
Describe an important decision you have made in your life. You should say what the decision was, why you made the decision, what the result of the decision was, and explain why this decision was important to you.
Okay, the clock is ticking. Imagine yourself in that room. Jot down your ideas and how you'll structure your response.
Remember, there are no right or wrong answers. The examiner is looking at how you communicate.
Okay, time's up. Deep breath and go.
Okay. One of the most important decisions I've ever made was the decision to study abroad during university. I've always been fascinated by different cultures and wanted to experience life outside my own country. So when I had the chance to study in for a semester, I knew I had to take it. It wasn't an easy decision, though. Leaving my comfort zone and everything familiar was a little scary. And there were financial things to consider and just, the fear of the unknown. But I was determined to push myself and have this new experience.
Wow, I can already tell this is going to be a good story. You set the scene so well, and those strong verbs like seize and daunting really highlight how big of a decision this was.
Thanks. So the result of that decision was honestly life-changing. Being immersed in a new culture, meeting people from all over the world, and learning to live on my own. It really shaped me in ways I never expected. I gained a whole new perspective on things, broadened my horizons, and became more independent and self-reliant. It was really important to me because it was a turning point in my personal growth. It pushed me outside my comfort zone, challenged my beliefs, and gave me this love for exploring the world and connecting with people from different backgrounds.
That was brilliant. The way you structured your answer, talking about the reasons, the results, and why it was important, was perfect.
Yeah.
And the vocabulary you used, transformative, broadened my horizons. Self-reliance. That's exactly what the examiners are looking for.
Phew, glad I passed that part.
You aced it. Now let's gear up for the final round, part 3. All right, we're back for the final round, part 3. Think of this as a deeper dive into the topic from part 2.
Yeah, the questions get a bit more abstract and you really have to think on your feet.
Exactly. So let's say the examiner asks,
What are some important factors people should consider when making major life decisions?
all right, time to impress. What would you say?
Well, I think it's really important to think about both the short-term and long-term effects of a decision. Something that seems good right now might not actually be good for you in the long run. It's also important to think about your values and if this decision aligns with them.
I like that.
Of course, financial stability is usually a factor, and your relationships with family and friends. Sometimes getting advice from people you trust, like mentors or close friends, can give you a different perspective.
That's a really thoughtful answer. You covered a lot of ground there and used some great vocabulary.
Thanks. All right, ready for the next one? I'll ask.
Do you think advertising can influence people's decisions?
Oh, absolutely. Advertising has a huge impact on what people buy and do. It often plays on our emotions, making us feel like we need something right away.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But I think it's important to be aware of those tactics and to really think critically about the messages we're seeing everywhere. We should question things and consider our own needs and values before buying into something.
That's a great point. You acknowledge the power of advertising, but also highlighted how important it is to be a critical consumer.
Exactly.
Well, that wraps up our IELTS Speaking Test simulation. What do you think?
Wow. That was intense, but also really helpful. I feel like I learned a lot just by going through the motions.
Me too. And for everyone listening, remember, this wasn't just about passing a test. It was about learning how to communicate effectively, using clear structure, engaging stories, and strong language.
Yes, and never stop learning. Every conversation is a chance to improve your skills and find new ways to express yourself.
That's a perfect way to end this deep dive. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.